What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to here to break down the Saturday night. I was going to say Saturday night's main event, AEW All In Texas. We're going to talk about that one too. But AEW All In Texas live from the Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas, and god damn, was that a show? Like hell of a show. I was blown away by a lot of the stuff that I saw in this show. There were a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and some just major surprises all in all in this show. And it's a hell of a watch. I have to say, it was probably the best wrestling event of yesterday of the three shows that were on. I thoroughly enjoyed the crap out of this, and a lot of big surprises on this show. But before we break it all down, I'm Mike with 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by my main man, Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, what did you think of the show before we get into any spoilers of any of the matches? But overall, how'd you feel going in and coming out of that show?
So, I mean, you're right. Out of what happened, what the event wrestling we had yesterday. I mean, I loved the NXT show, but this was the equivalent of AEW's WrestleMania. I said it on our preview. They needed this to be huge, and I think it delivered. I mean, they added a couple matches, which I hated because AEW's things always go way too friggin' long. But every single one of these matches out, which we'll talk about it when we get to it, but there was only one that really didn't deliver for me. And surprises, returning people. I mean, it was what it needed to be, and hopefully, with the way it ended up resolving, this is the step that AEW needs to get back on track and go back to being competition for WWE.
Completely agree. So we kicked things off with the 0 Hour pre-show, which had a few matches on it, and let's just kind of quickly break those down. So the first match was FTR, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus the Outrunners of Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd. FDR, as always, kind of shows why they're just one of the best tag teams on the planet, and they picked up the win by defeating the Outrunners by pinfall. The Outrunners put up a valiant effort, but I mean, this was kind of FDR's, time to shine and kind of getting them back into the tag title picture so they can kind of go on and, challenge the winners of those of that triple threat that comes up later on in this show here. But I thought it was kind of good to get them on the card. They're one of the bigger tag teams in AEW, and I think that having them pick up a win here for, and at the same time giving the Outrunners, just a look on a big show like this, I think was good. But there was no doubt in my mind FTR wasn't going to win this match.
Yeah, no, there was no way in hell that FTR was losing. And I feel like this was, like you said, just a way to get FTR on it in more than just a on commentary capacity.
Mhm.
And it's always good to see, much like during WrestleMania season, it's always good to see more people able to make it onto the card, even if it is just a pre-show. I didn't see this match. I didn't even actually see the highlights. I didn't know this one happened. I have to imagine FTR probably just dominated.
Yeah, I mean, I only watched bits and pieces of it too. I kind of fast forwarded through this morning because I actually forgot that this started so early, and I was watching the NXT show while this one was going on, so I
Same.
kind of missed it a little bit, but it's okay. So then the second match was Big Boom AJ and the conglomeration. Did I get that right? But
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly, Hologram, Tomohiro Ishii, versus the Don Callis family of Lance Archer, Trent Beretta, Rocky Romero, and Cheerio?
It's actually fair.
Got it. This one was nuts. I mean, Ishii and Archer came out beating the tar out of each other, and Kyle O'Reilly, I love Kyle O'Reilly. I loved him back in his days when he was in NXT as well. I think he's absolutely fantastic. They had a lot of great moments in this match, and the Don Callis family just despicable. Like they're just despicable heels, and they do all kinds of despicable heely things. And it was nice, I think, to see them get their comeuppance. I think this kind of definitely got the fans into it a little bit. It's always nice to see just bad guys just kind of get their teeth kicked in a little bit here. And this match did what it needed to do, and it was a solid match. I enjoyed it.
With Big Boom AJ and the rest of the Costco guys there was no way that they were losing. I don't think that they've lost that little internet meme group has lost yet when they've appeared on AEW shows. And I will give them credit. For being an internet meme. You can tell that he puts the work in because he doesn't look half bad in the ring. and it helps being carried by the people who were there with him too. Um, it was, I mean, it was pretty much what I expected this match to be. Goofy and the main guys did most of the work, but of course, Big Boom AJ got the win. So
Yeah, agree. And the third 0 hour pre-show match was the Sons of Texas of Dustin Rhodes, Marshall Van Erich, Ross Van Erich, and Sammy Guevara versus the Shane Taylor promotions of Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, and Captain Sean Dean. And again, this match was nuts as well. Another one of those absolutely great matches to kind of have on your pre-show. And this was the last one to kind of get the crowd ready for the main event. A big hard hitting match, and the Sons of Texas obviously came up with the win by defeating the Shane Taylor promotions via pinfall. Solid match, and it just got everybody ready, as I mentioned again, for the main show, which fantastic overall.
was there ever any doubt that a group called the Sons of Texas were going to lose here?
Yeah.
Like, there's no way in hell that that group was losing this match, especially with the Von Erichs as part of it in Texas. I mean, they're Texas royalty. There's no way that Shane Taylor Promotions was winning. And I mean, the 0 hour show gave us pretty much what we expect out of every 0 hour show. Matches without a ton of consequences, just to get people ready and into the main showing.
So the main show kicked off with the Ops versus the Death Riders. And this match was just nuts. I love Samoa Joe. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And it was just pure violence in this match, kind of from start to finish. They were all, I mean, him and Powerhouse Hobbs are just absolute monsters. And love me some Claudio as well on the Death Riders. I think he's absolutely fantastic, severely underutilized in a lot of ways. And it's nice to see him get his shine here. But the Ops retain the World AEW World Trios Championships with Samoa Joe hitting that nasty muscle buster on Wheeler Yuta for the win. What did you think of this match to kick off the main card, and was it the right result?
So I think this was the perfect match to kick off the card with the way that these guys hate each other and the quality of the work they put into the ring. I'm kind of surprised. I actually thought that the Death Riders would win here, with especially how I figured the end of the night would go. Um, but I gotta say, I absolutely love when Powerhouse Hobbs just no sells people hitting him and turns around and he's like, "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I think that's absolutely hysterical. And I'm always down to see Squealer Yuta getting his ass kicked. So
Squealer Yuta.
I just out of everybody in the Death Riders, I cannot stand Wheeler Yuta. I don't understand people's obsession with him and why they think he's so good. He's got the personality and the charisma of a towel. Um, I will say though, Gabe Kidd impressed me, especially with Pac being out and them having to fill in there. I think that he's taking pretty well to coming over here to America.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Next, we had the men's casino gauntlet for a shot at the AEW World Championship. And this one was nuts as well. There were a ton of entries here and a lot of big spots to talk about. But I'll quickly get into just, kind of the end of the match here. MJF won by picking up the pin over Roddy Strong, with an assist from Mark Briscoe's Jay Driller on Kyle O'Reilly, which was just friggin' nuts. So it'd be very interesting to see with the way that this show ended, with MJF being the one to have a world title shot here. We were initially going to be, we were kind of like hesitant to pick him because it just almost made too much sense for MJF to pick up the win here.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the direction they're going to go. But this match, just a lot of chaos in this match. Briscoe was great. Ricochet was great. Takeshita was great. I love the crap out of this match. It was a lot of fun, and these guys left it all on the table. But after watching it back, there was like MJF is the right person to win here. It makes so much sense, and knowing the way things are going now, MJF is the perfect heel to to our champion, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
So in regards to this match, sometimes the simplest answer is the best one, and MJF going over was, like you said, 100% the right choice. We talked about it on our preview. It just makes the most sense for his character, and he's such a ready-made like douchebag heel that it is the perfect foil to any face that ends up like as a champ. Um, I really thought Briscoe had ended his losing streak on pay-per-views, though. I thought he had it at the end there. Kind of disappointed in that. I would like to see him pick up a big win, since it's been so long since he has.
Yeah, completely agree. So before we get into the next match, we had to talk a little bit about Adam Cole here, I think, and this injury. I mean, I don't even really know what the injury is, but I just like, is he done? Like, I mean, Adam Cole. So just to quickly give our audience here just a kind of a brief summary of what happened. Adam Cole came down to the ring and basically, I mean, he didn't take too much time, but he got a little bit emotional and just talked about how he's not sure if he's in the right headspace to talk about retirement and, that he has to vacate the title, which this led to, I mean, it was kind of already kind of pre-announced, but it was a fatal four-way between Daniel Garcia, Dustin Rhodes, Cal Fletcher, and Sammy Guevara. And the winner obviously would be taking the AEW TNT Championship. But before we talk about the match, let's talk about what Adam Cole had to say. And I mean, I think he's done.
So, is there anybody who is more cursed than Adam Cole since coming to AEW? In WWE and NXT, Adam Cole never had injury problems, like ever. The guy was almost an Iron Man. Um, Going to AEW between that real nasty concussion that had him out for almost a year, then that horrific ankle injury, and now this, the guy is just snake bit. And you feel bad for him because he was just with winning this title that and he was just starting to get back into form, it seemed like I like to give Adam Cole a bunch of crap because he looked like he had the body of a 12-year-old boy for a little while there. But he was just getting back in shape. His matches were starting to like he was getting into the flow of things, and you hate to see any segment like this where someone comes out and basically has to say, it was same as when Kevin Owens did it, same as when Daniel Bryan did it, and Edge in the day, back in the day. You hate to see them come out and talk about how they might just be done. And part of me disagrees with them doing this on this show because it really took, I know it took, just from reading online too, a lot of people actually out of the show. And it's kind of a mood killer, you know what I mean? Um, and I get why they did it. They wanted to give him a platform to make this announcement, but I think that it hurts your overall show by doing that too. So I mean, hopefully he doesn't have to retire, and whatever is going on is something that he can beat, and we can see him come back stronger. But I hope for the best for them because that's terrible.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, to your point, the guy's had multiple injuries in AEW, and I mean, he's not a spring chicken anymore, right? Like he's in his late 30s, and I mean, he's got to worry about himself too and his long-term health and his long-term future. And like, if he can't get right or he can't, keep himself healthy, I mean, and I don't blame him. I don't blame anybody for it. Like you said, I think it's just the guy's snake bit, and it's really, really unfortunate because he's incredible on the microphone. He's a great wrestler. He's got one of the coolest named wrestling moves of all time in the Panama Sunrise. I friggin' love it. And yeah, it's really a shame. Um, but we were talking before this, before we started the podcast here, and I know you had some thoughts about Dustin Rhodes picking up the win here, so I'll let you run with it. Talk about the match and kind of the what the final was here, or the finale was to this title match.
So this match was originally supposed to be Adam Cole versus Kyle Fletcher, and I'm pretty sure Kyle Fletcher was going to win the belt here with the rocket that was strapped to him. So I don't really understand the reasoning by not just adding Dustin Rhodes to it, but adding his tag team partner to the match too. And Sammy Guevara seemed like a real weird like decision to just have them be in it. I would have done a triple threat personally with one of the two of them. Um, but then you have Kyle Fletcher get the shit kicked out of him several times. I feel bad for Sky Blue with the amount of shots to hit the groin he took. Um, and I just I don't know, a 60-year-old Dustin Rhodes winning this match and holding the title over Daniel Garcia and Kyle Fletcher. I'm not even going to count Sammy Guevara because, like I said, I don't even think he should have been in this match. It doesn't make sense to me, especially because you haven't had Dustin Rhodes on main AEW TV in for any like major amounts of time lately, other than his little segment with the Hurt Business a couple weeks ago. They've mostly been on Ring of Honor. I think this is a bad booking decision.
What do you think about the people online saying that this is Dustin finishing his story, kind of alluding to like what Cody did a couple years ago?
I don't know. I think that Dustin has been doing fine with the tag belts over in Ring of Honor. I don't know that he needs to be finishing his story over here yet.
Okay, I was just kind of curious, like what your thoughts are
Yeah.
on that.
I mean, it like I said, it doesn't make sense to me to have somebody who hasn't really been around or even involved with this title win this title. I would have had it go onto either Daniel Garcia, like I said, who Cole won the title from, or Kyle Fletcher, who has been chasing the title. Like just storyline wise, and it's I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant here. It's
Go
one
ahead.
of my biggest issues with AEW is I don't know if Tony Khan has anybody helping him book in back yet, but they have some of the most asinine decision making with their storytelling. I mean, how many storylines do they have that either just never end or have the dumbest conclusions to them? Like, it's one of my biggest problems with AEW, and it's part of why I don't watch it all the time. I mean, I watch it a little bit more than you, but I just hire a booker for God's sakes. I mean, hire Booker T, then you'll actually hire a booker. Just do something.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think they need help with writing from time to time because there's just the continuity has a lot of problems and it well we've said this before. Tony Khan is a fan that owns a wrestling company and he's not a booker. He's a fan and he's booking like I mean he books I mean dream match after dream match after dream match and these matches are awesome. I mean the next match we're going to get into is a contender for match. I mean there were two and a half matches on this show that could be a contender for match of the year. And the one we're going to talk about next was, absolutely one of them, right? But yeah, I think to your point, I think he books too much like a fan and not like an executive from
Yes.
time to time. So, but yeah, getting to my next point here, this next match, I mean, possible match of the year candidate. I mean, we had the Young Bucks of Matthew Nicholas Jackson versus Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay, and I mean, what more can I say about this match? I mean, I want to poke a little fun in flippy guys doing flips a lot in this match because there was a lot of that. But the Young Bucks putting their EVP titles on the line against Swerve and Ospreay, and the athleticism, the storytelling in this match. I can't say enough good things about this match. I mean, I personally can't stand the Young Bucks as human beings, but I love Swerve. I love Ospreay. I just this match was awesome. And Swerve and Ospreay getting the win was the right decision here. And there was kind of no doubt that, I mean, there's no doubt going into this that Swerve and Ospreay were not going to, pick up the win here.
So hearing you say that, for as much as you despise the Young Bucks, is pretty funny. But before even getting into the match, I gotta say I love that they all got special entrances. Osprey's Assassin's Creed themed entrance was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
And the Bucks coming in on a boat like they were crossing the Arlington was pretty funny. Um, this match was 100% what I expected. Flippy guys doing flippy things, and people no selling is 100% what I expected out of this match, and it delivered. I mean, I know that a certain wrestling reviewer in his basement is probably going to give this match like 17 stars. I mean, it would be 20 if it was in the Tokyo Dome, but I definitely agree. This is a match of the year contender, and I'm real curious to see with Osprey and Swerve winning what that means for the Young Bucks losing the EVP position because that's been so much of their character for the last year with their attitudes and their degradation of people that it'll be interesting to see where the storyline humbling of them takes them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And now, and with the result of the main event as well, like, because they kind of got involved in that as well. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it's like they lost all of their power
Yep.
So certainly interesting. Next, we had the women's casino gauntlet match, started off by Chris Statlander and Megan Bayne, who I love Megan Bayne. I think she's fantastic. This match was all right. There were some slow spots in here. Not a big fan of Tay Mello and Anna Jay and a couple other people, but Athena is great. Mina Shirakawa is great, and Athena picked up the win by pinning Mina Shirakawa, and I think Athena is probably the right winner here. Definitely ready to give her a bit of a push, and would love to see her match with for her match for a women's title, I think, coming up in a little bit. But this match was kind of slow for me, and especially after the last match, I couldn't really get into this one that much. It was fine. Like I said, I like Athena. I'm glad that she was the winner here. I probably would have preferred Megan Bayne, but it's fine.
Don't you dare talk about my girl Anna Jay like that. Love me some Anna Jay. Um, match. I mean, the match really didn't compare to the men's gauntlet match, but it got to the right conclusion with Athena basically being the forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion. I'm real curious to see how that translates to the main AEW roster, especially with going up against the eventual winner of the title match later that we'll talk about. I think storyline wise, it should be good. And I think match quality wise, it'll be absolutely fantastic. Um, Problem with AEW's women's division is there are a lot of women in it that just have zero chance at ever being like championship caliber. And there were a lot of them in this match. And like for as much as I love Vanna Jay, she's never going to be the women's world champion. Tay Mello, never going to be the women's world champion. Sky Blue, as much as it would be awesome, never going to be. You know what I mean? So that leaves you with what, like five or six people that could really potentially do it. And then out of that, maybe two or three that make sense. On top of the fact that you had a couple new debuts, you had Thekla being in this, like people who are brand new, who, unless they want to put a rocket on someone right out of the base, it was pretty much only like one or two people. And I think it came down to either Megan Bayne or Athena winning. And with Megan Bayne having faced Tony Storm a couple months ago, I think Athena was the right choice.
I mean, I also think that Mina Shirakawa is up there as well. She could be a champion at some point, the way they present her. But
Yeah,
yeah, to your point though, it's those three, and that's probably it.
yeah. And I mean, the problem with Mina is when we get to the eventual title match, I can see why they didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I completely agree. Um, Next we had the Hurt Syndicate versus Jet Speed versus the Patriarchy, and I called this one. I mean, all the way. My boy Bobby Lashley, no doubt, was going to be picking up the win here, but and this match, we'll talk about the match in a second, but the bigger moment here was the post angle, which I also called
You did.
because it was 1000% going to happen here. So after the match ended, after the Hurt Syndicate picked up their win, the heels kind of went to go and beat down Christian, getting him ready for the concerto. And who should return? But on this day, I see clearly Adam Edge Copeland, and came down with his baseball bat covered in barbed wire to make the
Fight.
save for his buddy Christian. And it looks like that tag team is going to be reformed. So what did you think of the match, and what did you think of the post angle to close that out?
So the match was everything we expected. I mean, it was the Hurt Business dominating the other two teams, basically having to work through that. Um, and I think the Hurt Business retaining still makes sense. I don't think that as much as I would like to see Jet Speed take the titles off of them, I don't I don't see that happening until maybe the next pay-per-view. In a one-on-one match. Anytime you have these triple threat matches, obviously there's a team that's put in there just to eat the pin. And going into this one, I'm pretty sure we talked about it. It was obviously going to be the patriarchy, and especially with the way they've been teasing the dissension in that group. And so afterwards, you had Nick Wayne and Mother Wayne and Kip Sabian turn on Christian and start working with FTR to try to kill Christian. And the only thing I didn't like was Edge came out to rescue Christian. By the time he got to the ring, they could have concertoed Christian like six times. He did the same thing that they were crapping on Penta doing at the Night of Champions, when he stalled coming to the ring, and it was dumb. I would like to hear people bitch about it as much as they were bitching about that because it was 100% the exact same situation. You have a person getting their ass kicked, get down to the ring and help them.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna argue with you there. But I mean, unfortunately, the people who do most of the complaining are typically on the AEW side of the fence. So,
This was 5 star to them. They'll never say a word about it. And
yeah,
we try to be impartial on this channel. So not only will we call out Penta's stupidity with his walking to the ring like that, but we'll call this shit out too.
yeah, I completely agree. Um, Next we had probably the biggest surprise of the night in the women's championship match between Timeless Tony Storm and Mercedes Hogan Money. And I don't even know what to say here. I mean, this match was fantastic. Tony Storm is great. She's the best women's champion that they've ever had in that company by a mile. And she retained. And I mean, there were some kind of cute, funny spots in this match. I'll let you talk about those, but I am stunned that Tony Storm retained the title in this match. Cannot believe it. I thought 1000% that Miss Creative Control was going to be the one to take the title off of her.
That should be the name of her finisher, Creative Control.
Yeah.
Um, I missed this match when it first came on, and so when you messaged the group chat that Tony Storm had won, I was in absolute shock. I had to go back and watch it. And for as much as I despise the fact that AEW likes to go for shock factor, um, with and especially with this feud with the over sexualization of parts of it, I don't think that's necessary when you have someone of the caliber of Tony Storm that you have. You know what I mean? And as much as we like to shit on Mercedes, if she's in the ring with somebody who can carry her, she can put on a decent match. It requires her having an opponent that can do that because we know she's dangerous and she's not the greatest by herself. But this match showed that when is facing somebody who has the ability to carry her, it can be a good match. And I think I'm utterly shocked at the way it ended. I don't know where they're going to go going forward, especially with Athena winning the gauntlet match. I think that Athena versus Mercedes would have been the better storyline. So I really don't know where this women's division is going to go.
Yeah. And I don't think this is the end of Mercedes being in the title picture either. While she might not challenge Tony Storm again, Mercedes will be a champion in AEW at some point. So,
But
yeah.
I mean, she already has 17 belts, so
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely stunning. I was blown away by the result of this match. Next was probably the most anticipated match of the evening, even probably for me, even more anticipated than the main event because I
yep,
kind of had a feeling going into the main event what was going to happen, but
right behind
this
me.
match was nuts, and the finish kind of surprised me too because I was not expecting that. But we are talking about Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, and this is a winner take all match for the Continental Championship and the International Championship, which were going to be combined into one title. And I mean, what more can be said about the rivalry between these two guys, right? Like, I mean, it is legendary at this point. These guys have had countless encounters all over the world. And I mean, I loved Omega's entrance with the Hooded Singers on the stage. That was really cool. And I mean, these guys just left it all in the ring. I mean, every single thing about this was fantastic. I loved JR coming out again to do commentary for this match. That was fantastic. But yeah, I mean, Omega was going to go for the one winged angel, and then Don Callis came to yank out the referee at the end there, and then Aubrey Edwards came in to take his place. And the Rainmaker secured the win to become the unified champion thanks to his signature clothesline. What did you think, and were you blown away by the result of this match?
Stunned by the ending. I absolutely would have bet anything that Omega was going to win this match, especially with how long Okada has held the Continental. And Omega being on the run that he's been on and how badly he was getting his ass kicked in the lead up to this. The reverse booking that normally happens is what I was expecting here. Um, the unification of these two belts, the international and the continental. I mean, I can already think of the perfect name for this title belt, the intercontinental title belt. So,
But if,
um, the match itself was fantastic. Of course, you had Don Callis getting interfering because he's Don Callis, who absolutely cannot stand him. Um, and I mean, I get that's the point. He's like your Paul Heyman type character, who's
see,
he's not quite to the level of Paul Heyman. But he is just as weaselly. Um, and I just do we think this feud continues? Or do they put Omega into some sort of different feud?
I think they need to take a break from this for a little while. Though these guys will do it again, I'm sure, but it might not be for a while. I frankly want Okada to be in the main title picture eventually, but I have a feeling with everything going on, I don't think that's going to happen for a while, and I have a feeling Okada's contract will likely be up by the time he
So
he's
the
ready
way
to
I
get
would book it,
that picture. But go ahead.
if I were booking it, the way I would book it is once we get through the summer here. I think September is when the Continental Championship tournament usually starts. I would have
Mm.
Omega win that, and that way, once you get to like October, November, you have this match run back, and that's where Omega wins it back.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then once you get the belt off Okada, you can have him become a contender to your face champion at that time. If MJF isn't champion again by then, which part of me is hoping he's not.
Or I mean, because I feel like eventually that world title is going to go on to Osprey. I
Yes.
would I would not hate a match between Okada and Osprey.
No, that would be an absolute banger.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a lot of fun. So our final contest of the night was the Texas Death Match for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship between champion John, I'm going to bleed a lot, Moxley, and Hangman Adam Page. And I'm going to let you talk about this one because I mean, this match was nuts. And I know we were kind of talking about this before we get on the podcast here, but what did you think of the match? What did you think of just all of the booking decisions in this match? And kind of walk us through what happened here and how you're feeling after this ended here.
So you missed Hangman Page's nickname of I also bleed a lot. Um the 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 health code violations that this match must have caused are like insane. The amount of blood that was in. I mean, the second they announced that Adam Page wanted this to be a Texas death match, we had to have known that this was going to be go the direction that it did. I mean, less than 5 minutes in, and had Adam Page was already stabbing Moxley in the head with a fork. Like, where did that fork even come from? Like, what? Like, was that like a pocket fork? Is that like pocket sand? I mean, God. So so it was bloody, it was violent, it had the swings of momentum back and forth both ways. Obviously it turned into your typical AEW pay-per-view main event where half the roster got involved. Samoa Joe obviously couldn't because he was taken out at the beginning of the show, but Osprey came out and was helping until he got taken out with Cesaro with a chair on his neck. I think the thing we were all holding our breath for was whether or not Swerve was going to come out, who eventually did come out, and after some hesitation, slid a chain to Hangman so he could choke out Moxley. You had obviously the Death Riders. I missed it because I had to run to the other room, but you said the Bucks showed up too.
Yeah, the Young Bucks were there to kind of try and take out, or Swerve took out the Young Bucks when he was
Right.
coming to the ring. Yep.
I
Yeah.
missed that part. But then I think the big things are Wheeler Yuta in the ring trying to interfere, and you had a masked man slide into the ring and take out Wheeler Yuta, which I wonder who that could have been before he took his mask off, given the old yes there. It was good to see Daniel Bryan get involved, or I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson. And the even bigger surprise was the return of a certain mountain climber to distract to distract John Moxley at the end as Darby Allin rappelled down Sting like from the roof and allowing Adam Page to hit another buckshot and win the match. And now we finally, after 10 months, get to see the title again.
Yeah. I mean, the ending sequence of that match was absolutely nuts. Moxley recovered from a stomp and a paradigm shift onto the bed of nails. Prince Nana handcuffed Marina Shafir to the timekeeper stable when Swerve showed up to give the chain after he took out the Young Bucks, and then Hangman used the chain to like wrap it around Moxley's neck when he put him over the top of the rope there, and Moxley tapped out from that. I mean, it was actually a really cool scene to kind of like see like Moxley's bloodied face while he was literally choking out, and he
Yep,
kind of like that on his chest to tap it out. But
the
Page
match was
removed
great.
Page removed the title from the briefcase, displaying it to the crowd, and he actually had a few tears on his face. I was it was really nice to see how emotional he was, and it was perfect. Like it was a perfect ending. The match was a little too violent for casual wrestling fans. But I mean, it's to kind of be expected from John Moxley, and I agree with your point 1,000%. Like this is the right thing to do. This needed to happen. It needed to happen, frankly, a while ago, but it this was probably the right moment, the right person, I
It
think,
was
to do
yes,
this. And Page is one of their biggest stars in that company, and I think this definitely kind of cements him as, just your one of your top guys.
just building off of that real quick. Hangman Page was 100% the right person to end this. He was in their first ever title match against Chris Jericho, came up short there. When he did have his title reign, it was ended early in a poorly booked CM Punk match. And if anybody who has been with this company since day one deserved this, it's Hangman Page. And I look forward to seeing what they do with him as champ because I think there's a lot of potential in a babyface reign for him, especially after working his way back from the insanity of that feud with Swerve.
Yeah. So we've definitely said this for a while, right? But I think that, while AEW is not a perfect company by like any means at all, right? And oftentimes their weekly television is forgettable. At least I think it is. Like I don't really enjoy watching Dynamite, and when I do watch it, I don't ever make it to the end of Dynamite, but their pay-per-views are fantastic. AEW always does a good job with their pay-per-views, and this show had a lot of ups, some downs. I think, it being a stadium show definitely gave it like a unique feel, and it felt like a big deal. The show it had big deal like with, kind of written all over it, right? Adam Cole's speech was tough. That was really, really hard to watch. And the vacating of the title. It was nice to see Dusty. I mean, I know you didn't much care for it, but it was nice to see Dusty get, capture that title. It was a good feel good moment. The Tony Storm thing was unbelievable to me. I cannot believe that she retained the title there. Edge coming back. I'm not going to call him Cope, but Edge coming back to save Christian is cool. And it'll be really nice to see those guys kind of, because they're both in the twilight of their career as well. And, it would be nice to see them have kind of maybe a final tag team run as well coming up in the future. And, we talked about the Osprey Strickland match. We talked about the Okada Omega match. Absolutely fantastic, both of them. And this main event, it delivered. I mean, it was a little too violent for my taste, but I mean, absolutely delivered. The right person won. And I give this show full marks, 4.5 out of 5 for me. And I enjoyed the crap out of this. This was peak, sports entertainment, if you will. And I was very sports entertained watching this show. So my hat goes off to AEW. This was a fantastic show, and it was substantially better than the other two shows that were on yesterday.
So I don't like ever giving something perfect scores. So I agree with you that it's 4.5. The big thing for me is that when you have a huge event like this, it has to have more ups than downs. And this show definitely did. I left I left watching this way happier with most of the matches than I was disappointed. And that is the quality of a good pay-per-view for me. We got the ending that we wanted. We finally didn't leave disappointed after a main event. Um, and questionable booking decisions aside for a few things, I think almost every match on here delivered. Even the four way that I wasn't a fan of, the match itself was still a good match. And like you said, AEW may not be able to may not have figured out how to do their weekly shows yet because a lot of the times it's pretty nonsensical, but they have 100% figured out how to put on a top tier pay-per-view. The only hope that I have is that at some point they learn like WWE did and cut down on the number of matches on the shows. These shows are way too long.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I will say that. And that seemed to be like kind of one of the common complaints of this, but yeah, that's okay though. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, I'm just a little disappointed that I missed the start of it, because I didn't realize that it started so early. So I had
Yeah,
to kind of go back this morning and watch some of it, but that's fine.
I was watching NXT as well, and I didn't even realize until you were like, "Oh shit, the AEW show started."
Yeah.
Um, I think though that you're right. This was the best show. I'd rank it this, NXT, and then Saturday Night Main Event, and not even Saturday Night Main Event's fault that it got ranked that low. But we'll
Yeah.
talk about that during our review later.
Yep. So that was AEW All In 2025. Thank you guys so much for joining us for our breakdown of the show. Let us know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Smash that like and subscribe button. We really appreciate it. And enjoy Evolution, which is going to be on later today. And with that, have yourselves a great rest of your day and take care.